Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins. Before we have a closer look at all the content, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the next step in your game and improve it even more, scan the QR code that is here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtom you can find in the description down below. That will take you to our platform where you can find all our premium guides, checkpoint challenge, tour play, and tournament play. Last but not least, the info box on the right hand side gives you the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we do advise to play with the big topper if you have that possibility. If you do not have that possibility, use the driver with the most topspin after that. Why? It's because we do want to reach as far down the fairway possible to give ourselves a chance with our short iron. Maximum distance plus 10 is what we're using. I'm using a power 3 ball in headwind, in crosswind or tailwind. We do not really need to play with a power 3 ball, as again, we won't be adjusting into max club. Nicely down the fairway, and then from there we do have a short iron towards the pin. Now, look at this very high bounce. There is a big difference of landing with your first bounce on the green or landing with your first bounce before the green. Landing before the green will give you a very high second bounce, and then you need a lot of elevation. If you're landing on green, then you don't really need a lot of elevation, as the second bounce will then not be as big. And that's something that is important to have in mind. So this shot in particular, I played it 20% elevation through distance. Make sure to hit perfect, otherwise you're gonna miss like I did there. On hole number 2, this is going to be a rough bump in my opinion. You can play here with your sniper, or you can choose to play with your long iron. With your long iron you need to play with a power 2 ball minimum. With your sniper you're playing with a power 0 ball or a power 1 ball when it comes to crosswind and headwind, and then power 0 ball in tailwind. I like the sniper due to its accuracy, because playing with a Goliath has a pretty poor accuracy. There's a risk of missing the rough if you do hit greats, whereof here with the sniper we do have a great accuracy, and even if we do hit a great ball, we will not see ourselves missing the rough. Minus 10% elevation. This particular shot I play minimum distance minus 10%. However, that will obviously change depending on what type of wind direction you have. And also what spins that you are using. But in this particular video I'm using minimum distance minus 10% elevation. Well, hole number 3 is probably one of my favorite par 5s there is in the game, and the reason for that is the massive funnel we do have on the second shot. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna use all the top spin that we have on the extra mile level 5, which is 4.5 top spin, and using 3 right spin. Adjust with our extra mile is max plus 10. The goal here now is to have a controlled drive to end up more to the right side of the fairway than to the left, because the more left, the less inclined we will be to be in the correct spot. So we're getting it up there nicely, and now from the 325 yard mark we're going to have a sniper. And now look to what I'm doing here. I'm putting my target with the red ring by the edge of the rough line. I'm adding the spins, and look now, I can move 1 or 2 rings left or right, and the ball guideline is still stuck at the same place. And that is a good funnel, which means that you have room for error, where you can hit in some cases even a great, and it will still go in. So it's all about finding that sticky spot, which will come to the tough part, which is that the spins will most likely vary. No elevation on the second shot, just true distance, and then try to hit perfect. And the ball here now will bounce on in the rough. You can see here it rolls down and onto the green. It looks like it's going to stop short, but it's not, because it's downhill on the green. And we're getting to drop hard on the right hand side. mean, it doesn't really matter how it drops, but the important part there is to really focus on that funnel. There are so many players, especially when when you might not be that when you might be new of the YAML dunes and the dreaded dunes, then you might not know that spot. But by knowing how to play this hole could give you just a simple albatross where your opponents will struggle even making the eagle. Hole number 4, this is a difficult one, I would say, if you do not have the possibility to go for a rough bump, which you only can if you do have enough topspin on your long iron. But the fact is that playing with a long iron here with a lot of topspin is gonna be named Goliath, and Goliath has a pretty bad accuracy, and then a great left will be in the bunker. So what I decided to do is to bounce on the fairway, where using, in the video, I'm playing max plus a 35% elevation, but we should have played max plus 20, which is therefore I'm suggesting that in the info box. Using a Marlin ball, you can use a navigator ball or another ball that you reduce the wind even more if you would like that, but I don't see the point in using any other ball, especially when the wind is still below 5 miles per hour. Close miss, but this one is, again, if you're playing the rough bump, you do have a great possibility for a drop always, in my opinion. But once you do play a bounce up like this, it's going to be a lot more difficult. For hole number 5, those of you that do have the possibility to play with a power 5 ball and a big boy club, I mean, Extra Mile 5 is not a big boy club, but just for the sake of the example, you can see that I'm using the 4.5 topspin that I'm having on Extra Mile, and I'm aiming at the center of the fairway, max overpower, trying to hit perfect. The goal here is obviously to get close to green, or as close as possible. We won't get closer than this if we're having 4.5 topspin and playing into a headwind, but you could see the situation. If you do have a tailwind or even a crosswind, then you will reach further up. You might have 6 bars of topspin to be used as for Extra Mile level 8 or low level Thor's hammer. Then you will also be closer to the hole. Max no elevation on the drive, and again, I truly recommend that you're pushing it to get yourself a chance to get or be by the green. Now, second shot is wedge. It's an EB school in my opinion. So make sure to pack the wedge that gives you the best accuracy and most importantly the best ball guideline, because the ball guideline will be super helpful to make you determine how you aim with your ball guideline, obviously, so you're not aiming right side of the hole or left side of the hole or short or long, so that's going to be very important. Hole number 6 is the toughest of the 9 dreaded dunes holes, or YAML dunes holes, and here we would have a lot of value from using a lot of power. Not maybe so much on the drive, but especially on the second shot, because we do want to reach to do a rough bump. What I'm doing here now is that I'm using all the topspin with my big topper. I'm adjusting max plus 10, pushing up to max, and then just playing a standard perfect ball shot. However though, if you do have the possibility, use a power 5 ball, then you can play with Extra Mile or the Thor's hammer or the Apocalypse, even though you have it in a low level. You can obviously keep the big topper as well, that's completely up to you. Second shot, we're going to do a rough bump. Here, using a power 5 ball would allow those of you that do have a sniper in at level 9 or 10 to be able to play with a sniper. For us that do not have the sniper in that level on our accounts, then we're going to have to play with the wood club that gives us the most power. And in this instance, this is the big dog. And what I'm looking for here is truly just to get the ball down towards the green area, or just for a simple wedge. As I'm adjusting into overpower, I have no ball guideline to follow. So if I would be dropping this one, it would be super lucky, really. So in the end, we're getting the ball to green, I'm taking my eagle and moving on. But as I've explained, having good clubs, having a good ball will open up a chance for an albatross here, but having not the possibility to play with good balls, or you have intermediate and low level clubs, or low level clubs, then you should most likely just settle for an eagle and move on. Hole number 7, I think, is a very interesting par 3 because it offers so many different type of way of playing. Like you can play from the right, you can play from the left, you can play a rough bump, or like on the left, you can play a rough bump just before the green. I mean, there are so many different ways of playing, and I'm not saying anything is actually better than the other because in my book, it's wind dependent. So depending on what wind angle you have is where you then should choose to play. Like if wind is right to left, then playing from the right is in play. But if you're playing, if any wind, you can play from the left hand side. And if you're gonna play a rough bump, I would only recommend to do that in a direct crosswind. The reason for that is obviously if you do have a tailwind or a headwind, it might just make the ball fly longer or shorter. It might miss the rough. That's not something we want to do. Now, I mean, the video is not superb in terms of getting a hole in one, but we're getting close to pin, playing at medium distance plus 10 using a quasar ball here. But again, this is par 3 that is very interesting as it once again offers a lot of opportunities. For hole number 8, for those of you that do have big boy clubs, which is, you know, the Apocalypse level 5 plus, or maybe an extra mile level 8 plus and stuff like that, then we're going to send it and try to get to green in tailwind. Other than that, we're going to try to get the ball as far up the fairway possible. I'm using the big topper here in tailwind. If I would be having a crosswind or a headwind, I would be sticking with the extra mile or Thor's Hammer or Apocalypse, whatever club that do give me the most topspin, because the topspin has tons of value here, because the closer we are to the green, the easier the second shot will be, as we will then be playing with a short iron from around medium distance instead of maximum distance. Second shot is going to be played here with our thorn. Here you're checking where max club is and you're checking where minimum club is. That's the ultimate way of doing so if you do not have any directives from someone else, like meaning if you have a guide or you have old notes or something like that. I'm playing with no spin, ball guideline to be short of hole, as I do not have a fully developed ball guideline on my thorn. So that is very important. We are using 10% elevation, once again true club distance. So it is once again ultimately important that you do stretch out to max and you go back to min to check in what percentage your club stands to make the best possible guess. Now I'm making a guess, I'm getting my eagle, and I'm happy. Hole number 9, I see a lot of value in playing with the quarterback, even though I do not have it in a high level. Using 3 topspin and 3 right spin, playing with a kingmaker, as we do want to have the side spin to push the ball right. The fact is that this fairway here slopes pretty heavily right to left once you get past the bunker that is on the right hand side. All the curl to the right, adjusting max snow elevation, and you can see here now that how much it slopes right to left, and if we would be playing close to the rough line on the left hand side, we will most likely fall into the rough. 322 yards, that's perfect. That's going to leave us to play either a long iron from max if we do have a tailwind. If we do have a crosswind or a headwind, it's going to be played with a sniper. And the reason the sniper is a beautiful club here is due to its ball guideline. We're doing an aggressive rough bump, which might not be for everyone, but I have to say this is a shot that do have a lot of room for error, especially if you do have a crosswind. You can hit great left and great right, and as the wind will not push you further up or further back, then you will still hit the rough. 25% elevation, true club distance, which is going to be somewhere between minimum distance to medium distance, hits the rough, rolls up onto the green, and we're getting to drop lovely for an albatross from distance. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins. If you do want to improve your game even more, scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. Last but not least, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. Those 3 things will help the channel immensely. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in the Golf Clash game.